Today, I want to talk about something that a lot of people in real estate feel, but very few people are willing to say out loud. The industry is standing at a crossroads. For years, agents were taught a specific formula for success: work harder, make more calls, knock more doors, generate more leads. But what happens when the world changes and that formula stops producing the same results? That's where we are right now. Consumers have changed. Technology has changed. Artificial intelligence has changed expectations. The question isn't whether change is coming. It's already here. The real question is whether we're willing to adapt our value, our services, and the way we communicate with clients. This presentation is about understanding those changes and learning how modern agents can stay relevant, valuable, and trusted in a completely different marketplace. This is Steve Koleno, and this is Confidential Remarks. For decades, agents were told that success comes from doing more. More calls, more doors, more prospecting, more activity. And for a long time, that worked. But today, many agents are working harder than ever and getting less response than ever. The reason isn't that agents suddenly became less talented. The reason is that consumers have changed. When people no longer see value in the offer, increasing the volume doesn't solve the problem. If someone isn't interested in what you're offering, talking to 10 times more people doesn't fix it. It just means more people are saying no. The challenge isn't effort. The challenge is that the value proposition itself needs to evolve. There was a time when agents had something incredibly valuable: information. If you wanted property data, comparable sales, or market insights, you often had to go through a real estate professional. Today, that's no longer true. Consumers carry powerful technology in their pockets. They can search homes, compare neighborhoods, estimate values, and access enormous amounts of information within seconds. The walls that once protected that information have disappeared. And that's not necessarily bad news. It simply means that the role of the agent has to change. If information is now free, then value must come from something deeper than information alone. Many of the things agents used to lead with sounded powerful years ago. I have access to the MLS. I'll handle everything. Trust me, I'm the professional. But think about how consumers hear those statements today. Most people already have access to listings. Technology can automate many tasks, and trust is no longer given automatically because of a title. Consumers want proof. They want transparency. They want to understand exactly what they're paying for. The old script isn't wrong. It's just no longer enough. Whether we like it or not, agents now have a new competitor: artificial intelligence. AI can analyze data, draft documents, compare properties, and answer questions 24 hours a day. It never gets tired. It never takes a vacation. And it never asks for a commission. Trying to beat AI at processing information is a losing battle. Instead, agents need to focus on what AI can't do. AI can provide answers, but it cannot truly understand human emotions, fears, relationships, or life-changing decisions. That's where human value still matters. One of the biggest challenges facing the industry today is trust. Many consumers simply don't understand what they're paying for. Others question whether the value matches the cost. Whether we agree with those perceptions isn't the point. Those perceptions exist, and when enough consumers believe something, it becomes the reality we have to address. The answer isn't becoming defensive. The answer is becoming clearer. The more transparent we are about our value, the easier it becomes to rebuild trust. When industries ignore customer concerns for too long, eventually outside forces step in. That's what we're seeing today. Regulators, courts, and policymakers are paying closer attention to how real estate operates. These changes didn't happen overnight. They are the result of years of growing consumer frustration. The lesson here is simple. If we don't adapt voluntarily, change eventually gets imposed on us. The smartest professionals are already adapting before they're forced to. Many agents are still being taught strategies that were designed for a very different market. And often, the people teaching those strategies built successful businesses under conditions that no longer exist. That doesn't mean they're bad people. It simply means they're working from an older playbook. The challenge is that today's consumers have different expectations. What worked 10 years ago may not work today. Success requires understanding today's reality, not yesterday's. The future of real estate isn't about controlling access. It's about providing guidance. Consumers don't need someone to unlock information anymore. They need someone who can help them make sense of it. That's a completely different role. The winning agents of the future won't be gatekeepers. They'll be trusted advisors. People who help clients navigate complexity, reduce risk, and make confident decisions. If we can't compete with technology on speed, then where do we compete? We compete where humans still have the advantage. First, psychological safety. Buying or selling a home is emotional. People need reassurance and confidence. Second, strategic navigation. Clients need help understanding what information actually means. And third, high-level negotiation. Human relationships, empathy, timing, and communication still matter. These are areas where technology supports people, but doesn't replace them. Transparency is no longer optional. It's becoming a competitive advantage. Consumers want clarity. They want to know what services they're receiving. They want to understand pricing, and they want to know exactly how an agent creates value. The more transparent you are, the less resistance you'll face. People aren't afraid of paying for value. They're afraid of paying for something they don't understand. Transparency solves that problem. The modern agent operates differently. First, they regularly evaluate whether their value proposition still makes sense in today's market. Second, they focus on pricing based on actual value delivered. Third, they shift from controlling information to interpreting information. And finally, they lean heavily into transparency. The agents who thrive over the next decade won't necessarily be the ones working the hardest. They'll be the ones adapting the fastest. If you've been feeling frustrated, discouraged, or confused by the changes happening in real estate, this is the most important message of the entire presentation. You are not the problem. The market has changed. The consumer has changed. The tools have changed, and the old playbook simply wasn't built for this environment. So before you make another 100 calls hoping for different results, try something different. Lead with transparency. Focus on value. Become a guide instead of a gatekeeper. And most importantly, stop trying to win yesterday's game. The future belongs to the agents who are willing to rewrite the menu. This has been Confidential Remarks.